Badass Attitudes, licensed here, flipping the format on the fear of failure. A badass is aware of their emotions, acknowledges their fears and owns them, and knows when they need a positive attitude adjustment. Sign up for the Badass Certification class. Don't miss the bus.
That's right. Don't miss the bus. We are, the Badass Certification class is coming up a week from Friday on November 19th. But there's big doings going on over here at Michelle's Place because they're having a 20th anniversary gala right here in the parking lot. So every time I walk out of my office, because I do my therapy practice in here and some coaching and my podcasting and my writing and, I'm strategizing and, getting prepared for the Badass Certification class. And I walk out of my office and there's a whole new transformation going on. It's very metaphorical for me. So here I am, Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier, broadcasting and podcasting from Michelle's Place Cancer Resource Center. And I'm really proud to be here. I have a little surprise for the gals that work here because a good friend of mine, Cindy Warren, and the president or CEO or whatever of Jags Gives Back, who is Kyle Warren, have graciously agreed to sponsor the navigators here at Michelle's Place to become certified badasses. I mean, they already are badasses, and that's the whole point of the Badass Certification class, is that we've all struggled in life and we've all had, we've all endured so much, and we're not quitting and we're still trying to figure out things, and, we've had to shift and pivot and make focus on something different, but we're all still here and we're going to grow this confidence and, a positive attitude, and we're going to focus on the things that are going well so that way we have better tools in our toolbox that when some crisis occurs, we can handle it much better. And so that's what the Badass Certification class is all about. It's like CPR for your mental health. So I have some friends to thank at the end of the podcast, but I'm happy to be here. We used to call it Wednesday Wisdom. Maybe you can help me out. I got to figure out. Basically, it's just a podcast for successful badassery, and it publishes on Wednesday because I give you some wisdom. Because I've done away with the Fruitful Friday. Why is that? Well, I got a story to tell you. All right, and this is all about awareness. Okay, so the month of November, we are focusing on the second letter A in the BADASS acronym. And if you're new to the podcast, I don't want to reiterate everything that I share every single time about BADASS being an acronym. So I would really appreciate, just go ahead and scroll back and review some of the other podcasts. But this month we're focusing on the letter A, the second letter A in BADASS, which means awareness. And so, the focus in the program, we talk about and teach emotional intelligence and how nostalgia is a great mood booster, which changes the brain chemistry. We work on some positive psychology. And so that's what the Wednesday podcast is always featuring as far as, going through the BADASS program acronym. I always say you can stay in the slow lane and just listen to the podcast. I'll probably provide you with enough that you are kind of shifting your mindset and thinking differently. Or you can go in the fast lane and you can sign up for my License to be Badass program, which is all digital and online coaching and very convenient and cost effective. And it's basically, it's therapeutic, but it is not therapy. And these days we are short on therapists because we are all crazy busy with our schedules, taking care of people. And so I do have a program that if you can't find a therapist, I got the next best thing for you. And that is to teach you to be licensed to be badass. But I do have a story to tell you about the apple a day. Okay, so this week is the Field of Honor, sponsored by my Rotary Club in Murrieta. And for those of you who don't live here, Murrieta, California, it's sister city to Temecula, wine country. Beautiful day on Saturday. I had the pleasure of going to my granddaughter's fall festival at their school on Friday night, which is always, it's always a pleasure just to kind of run around with them and let them get on the bounce houses and play the carnival games and win prizes and eat candy. And I just enjoy it all the time, or when I can go. And then I had them spend the night. And then in the morning was the opening ceremonies for the Field of Honor, which is at Town Square Park in Murrieta. And so, me being very aware and practicing awareness, I wanted to bring my granddaughters to experience this with me. You know, my children grew up with me taking them to events like this when we had the radio station. So I was always involved in some sort of a community event, you know, as a representative of my radio station. But now I'm just a representative of Rotary, but that's no reason why I can't expose my granddaughters to some of these community events. And I knew that they would enjoy it. And then I also, you know, dragged my parents along. So it was a family outing on Saturday at the Field of Honor. And I had volunteered also. So there was, you know, an awesome opening ceremonies. And, you know, I'm always into the entertainment. So, of course, they had the choral music department from the school district and a little dance troupe that did a tap dance number to Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Cute costumes. There was a boy in the audience, you know, in the dance crew, and, you know, all these cute girls. And I was one of those girls growing up. I did all of those dance shows. For 10 years, I was a tap dancer from the time I was like 3 or 4 until I was 14. And I did all of these I did go to these community events as a kid. So I was just enthralled and very aware of the joy that I was feeling watching these girls and having the memories of what it was like for me to perform like that and still feeling that. And you know, one of my daughter did take some dance lessons, and, you know, they did drill team and things like that. Life was different, you know, when I was raising my kids. But I turn over and I look over at my 2 granddaughters who are 8 and 10, hoping that they're just as enthusiastic about the dancers as I am. But no, I said, don't you want to do that? No, that looks too hard. I couldn't explain to them how much fun it is, but it does take practice. I mean, it's not something that you can just pick up tap dancing and just do. So much respect to this little troupe of tap dancers. But once again, it's talking about awareness, you know, and this was for me a little bit of nostalgia, but also a little bit of sharing with my family, being aware of how I was feeling. And I practice this regularly so that I can talk about it and teach it to my clients and, well, you badasses. So when you're out and about, really be aware of your emotions when you're out there, you know, thinking, you know, out there. So getting to the apple a day story. So one of my Rotarian friends is retired, and but, you know, went very, very high up in the banking industry and ran banks, and so very much respected businesswoman. It's not fair to tell her name. I won't share her name here, but I wanted to share the story because it's very personal and dynamic for me, and fun and kind of like a full circle sort of thing. So we're just sitting under the tent at the Field of Honor, you know, the big Rotary tent, and it's all wide open, and it's kind of like a picnic environment. I mean, people are coming and going, and I've got my 2-hour shift to volunteer there as an escort, basically my job, which I recruited my granddaughters to do with me, and they started doing it without me even, as people would come to, you know, pay their tribute and get their flag with the tag with their loved one's name on it to honor them. Then we have this whole procedure of, because all the flags are already laid out, so they have an assigned location, which is a numbered spot, and so you have to take them out to find that numbered spot where their flag is supposed to go and replace it with the flag, the placement flag, the placeholder flag that's there, and then come back and, you know, treat their flags with respect and whatnot. And so we're sitting around, and we're just kind of, there's a lull in the, you know, the people that are coming and going, and so we're just sitting there chatting, and this woman says to me, "Kelly, I heard your podcast on the radio." And I'm like, okay, you know, that's great, you know, because I do know that I do have some friends in the radio world. My Apple a Day is being broadcast on 10 or 12 or 15 stations across the country. I haven't kept track. I'm literally that fluid about it. And, you know, and I have it on the podcast platforms as well. So it could be anywhere that she heard it. It could be in her phone, and it could have been anywhere. So we're going back and forth, and she goes, no, I was in my car, and I was somewhere. Where was I? And she's trying to rack her brain. Meanwhile, I'm thinking she's pulling my leg at that point, and I even called. I said, "You're lying," and and she was very indignant about that. Have you ever known me to lie or fib on any numbers or anything at all ever? No, of course not. No. And so we settled that. She's no. It was on Sirius XM or something. Well, then I started to get kind of mad because I have given permission to my friends in radio to air the apple a day, but I haven't given anybody at Sirius XM permission. So, who stole my apples, basically? And but that wasn't it. And so she says, no. Okay, now I know. It was when I was in Kauai on vacation with my sister and we rented a car. And this was a pre-programmed station. And I heard him say, the announcer said, this is Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day. It's changed my life. I listen to it all the time. And we air it every morning at 7 a.m. Please tune in at 7 a.m. It'll change your life too. And she says, is that my Kelly? My Kelly from Murrieta Rotary? And that was so very cool for me. And my dad and my mom were sitting right there. They heard the whole dialogue. And I looked over at my dad, and I told him the name of the gentleman who owns the radio stations in Hawaii that have agreed to air my Apple a Day. And so it came full circle and came all the way back to me, where one of my Rotary friends was vacationing in Hawaii and heard my Apple a Day on a Hawaii radio station. Talking about, you know, a happy feeling, a happy, warm feeling. And so that took that emotion carried me. Well, it's still carrying me today. And this was told to me on Saturday because I share the story of the power. Well, first of all, the power of radio. I'm sorry. Anybody who says radio is dead is just not paying attention, because it's not. And I loved the connection that I had with, you know, because this Apple a Day getting on radio was pretty much spearheaded by this gentleman who owns these radio stations in Hawaii. He owns stations all over the country. But then to have my Rotary friend tell me that they heard it. And so there was a little bit of nostalgia because it's been a very long time since I've had somebody say to me, I heard you on the radio. And that used to be, I heard that for so many years. It became, yeah, you know, whatever. Because I'm on the radio all the time, but I'm not anymore. And so to have somebody come back and tell me that, it was just, it was that nostalgic, happy memory. And if I could attach a song to it, I haven't yet. So but I probably will, because this is a new story that I can integrate into some of my programs, because to me, it felt like kind of like coming a full circle, but a boomerang, because the more positive stuff I put out there and the more that I offer, the more positive stuff comes back to me and is offered to me. And that is happening for my clients all the time. You know, I see that with them, is that when you are projecting positive energy, positive thoughts, positive emotions, positive vibrations, you are broadcasting that signal out to others. And then what happens? Will they receive that positive messaging, basically the positive influence, the positive words, the positive whatever it is, and they start to feel better too, and they start to project it. So whatever you do does impact those around you. So I was very, very thrilled when my friend told me this story, and glad that we had that downtime, because she was pretty much in charge of the whole shindig, the field of honor. So she's you know, in go mode, business mode, constantly, you know, organizing and taking care of things, you know, and very professionally. But she had some downtime, and it happened to be we were visiting. You know, we were just being able to sit and visit, and I'm so grateful for that, because remember, also November is a month of gratitude, and so that is what the Apple a Day is focused on all this entire month. So if you have not yet discovered Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day, it is on the same podcast platform that you listen to Kelly Orchard's podcast for Successful Badassery. But believe me, I've been noticing the upticks in the statistics on how many downloads the Apple a Day is getting, and so thank you. Somebody's doing it, you know. So gratitude is the theme of the month for Wednesday, or actually for November. Theme of the month for November. So on the Apple a Day, and and of course awareness. So I wanted to share that story with you, and you know, it was kind of the thing about taking the kids to the field of honor, and this is another thing about being aware. So I took my granddaughters out there on Saturday along with my parents. And so it was a beautiful day in Murrieta. Just imagine this, 2,000 flags on the field of honor put out there by loved ones who are considered heroes, or served in the military. This is a place where family members, can come together to celebrate those who fought for our freedom. So there's all sorts of different activities going on, and the kids enjoyed it. Well, then we had a luncheon hosted by the Rotary Club at the same location under the tent. Now there's tables and chairs and food, and now there's a couple hundred people. In the same place that was empty just 2 days before is now filled with dignitaries and business people and all sorts of other Rotarians. And so once again here, because I'm so focused on practicing awareness right now because of what I'm sharing with my clients, what we're working on. I always go with a theme. It's always very helpful. And of course, in the podcast, gratitude and awareness. And so this was one of these things where I recognize that this is a very celebratory event, but also very humbling and a little somber, because those in attendance are, they're actually key in, being badass people, And so it was hard for me not to cry. It was actually a very beautiful ceremony. I wanted to cry when they performed a medley of all the theme songs from all the branches of the military, so many were honored, who had served an opportunity to stand up and be recognized. And I was very aware, and the humbling mood of all those in attendance and the awareness, that's the key to being badass, right? Is being aware. That's part of it, is what is going on around you. And, practicing awareness when you're out in public, it makes it so much more interesting and enlightening. So nostalgia was also a theme. So singing the old songs, talking about old victories, the wars, the Medal of Honor, the Purple Hearts, and the service. And of course, not all those that were warm and happy memories that we were honoring their service. Some of those didn't make it home. So we celebrate those. And then some of those that did make it home. And so we're doing something badass in their life because of it, making changes, serving. And so the people that were honored or there to serve, first responders, military, or they were or have. So the awareness is, so this week, while you're out, even if you don't have anybody in the family that was military or whatever, but if you see anything, just allow this time to be a time where you're just aware of what your freedoms are, aware of the people who have served, aware of people who are serving now, and feel a moment of nostalgia for even like how it used to be or how things were. And I'm talking about your youth and your happy memories. I'm working on, all of the elements and materials for the Badass certification class. I'm not a procrastinator. And of course, this class I've been doing for several years, but I have not done a live and in-person class in 2 years. I've done a few online, which has been fine during COVID, but this is the first time I'm actually able to present the Badass certification class live and in person. And of course, those who have attended the class know that I like to use multimedia to make it sort of entertaining. So I've got videos that I show and some music that I play, and a lot of different descriptions. So I'm already deep into the nostalgia this week, so I can't help myself. So I'm pretty much just sharing with you that it will improve your mood. All right. So when you allow yourself, I can't tell you enough how many, when you hear it's like, never look back, always look forward. Oh, don't live in the past. It's a bad place to be. Okay. That doesn't mean that it's not a good place to visit. And you just don't stay there. It's go ahead and go visit the happy memories of your youth, whatever they may be. Be aware of how you're feeling, because when you can find those happy memories, and this is the HeartMath system, it is also proven in neuroscience and neurobiology and neuroplasticity, and also used in positive psychology, which is all encompassed by cognitive behavioral therapy. So guess what? I'm certified in all of these techniques. And so I teach it in a fun way where you don't really have to understand the components of the why it's working. But here's what I'm telling you: you can change your brain chemistry, which reduces the stress impact on your body, which is causing you to feel the aches, the pains, the sleeplessness, the digestive issues, the headaches, the sleeplessness, you name it, whatever symptoms. So when you allow yourself to embrace some of the awareness of nostalgia and the changing in your moods, and practice a little bit more awareness when you're out in a public environment, rather than having that tunnel vision and only taking care of what you've got to take care of, whether it's running errands, whatever you're listening to on the radio, whatever it is, wherever you're at, wherever you're going, I want to encourage you to be more aware, practice it, and see how different your perspective becomes. And then find your way to some happy, warm memories, and then find your way to a song. Now, I'm going to wrap up right now because this is really what the message was about. I wanted to share with you about the Field of Honor and having my grandberries over and taking them there. And that not only did that create a new memory, because I took pictures of them with all the flags, which I'm putting up on the podcast art today. And not only did I get to share that with them, but they also learned some things. They got to meet some people that I'm involved with in my life, and they learned some leadership skills and got out in the community. And so nothing bad about that at all. And then I got to introduce them to my parents as well. Well, not my grandchildren, my Rotary friends. They had never met my parents, but I talk about them all the time. So when they met my parents, they're like, "You're celebrities. We already know all about you." So that was kind of touching and fun. So nostalgia and awareness is the theme for November. Don't forget to check out Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day. They are just 60 seconds on wisdom, success, and personal growth. And the whole month of November, we're focusing on gratitude. Now, I always like to include a song in the podcast and what this means to me. And, like I've shared with you that I recently purchased a Ford F-150 truck, and with the purchase, comes a subscription to Sirius XM. And I always tell my friends that I'm a terrestrial radio girl. I would never pay for satellite, but while you have it, you might as well use it. So I've been, tooling around on the station, on the music, on the different stations. And, I like, I bounce back and forth from 70s on 7 to 80s on 8 to 90s on 9, back to a Christian contemporary, The Message, up to, Y92 country or something like that, and a couple of pop ones, and so forth. And so I'm bouncing back and forth just because I'm discovering, and so I'm listening to the 90s one, and a song started to play that I had not heard in years. And it took me back. This is Nostalgia 101. It took me back to when I was living up in Sacramento with my kids, and I was at the time working for a new marketing company. I had left radio, and this was a digital marketing company, very cutting edge, because this is before 2000. This is 1999, and we're running around trying to do some marketing stuff. And my daughter's in the drill team, and this song was a big hit on the radio. So this song was like constantly being played, and I've got teenage girls who were loving it. They were dancing at it at drill team, and at the time I was also volunteering with this drill team. I was choreographing some of their dance numbers. So the song was called "I'm Blue" by what was the name of the artist? Yeah, Eiffel 65. One hit wonder called "I'm Blue." And so the song, I just recorded a little video and shared it with my daughter about where this song took me, because I swear I haven't heard this song in 20 years. Really, I haven't. Well, has it even been 20 years since it came out? 1999? Yeah, well, close. Yeah, it has. So anyway, I hadn't heard it in 20 years, but then I go to look at the lyrics so I can share about this story today on the podcast. And I was actually surprised because I wasn't all that aware of the lyrics. It starts out like this: "Yo, listen up, here's a story about a little guy that lives in a blue world, and all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue, like him inside and outside. Blue his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and inside and everybody around, because he ain't got nobody to listen to." And then it goes into I can't sing it, "I'm blue, doobity dabby da," and it was a fun song. We used to use it for a drill team. I never really was aware that the lyrics "I'm blue" is talking about his emotions. I just thought I was a blue man, and that was it. So it goes, "I have a blue house with a blue window. Blue is the color of all that I wear. Blue are the streets, and all the trees are too. I have a girlfriend, and she is so blue. Blue are the people here that walk around. Blue like my Corvette, it's in and outside. Blue are the words I say, but what I think. Blue are the feelings that live inside of me. So I was intrigued by the lyrics of I'm Blue from Eiffel 65. And I hear the messages for you today. You're not alone in that. A lot of people are blue. And I got just the ticket for you. That was a great segue. Okay, so I got to wrap up because it's already been 24 minutes, and I like to keep these at 20. So the Badass Certification class, this is not meant to be an advertisement. But if you want to be a certified badass, there's still time for you to hop on the bus. But I do have some friends to thank. It's filling up. I want to thank the Coldwell Banker Property Management for sending their whole team. Yeah, so I've got them. They're going to be certified badasses. And of course, Julie No, State Farm Insurance, she's sending her team as well. Many of my Rotary friends are coming, and I'm very grateful to them. Variety of those individuals who want to be certified badasses from several different Rotary clubs in the area. And I am grateful. And then, of course, a big, big thank you to Jags Gives Back, which is Kyle and Cindy Warren, for sponsoring the 5 seats for the Navigator team here at Michelle's Place, because they deserve it. The work that they do is God's work, and so now they're going to get to be certified badasses. And what it will turn out to be for them is a CPR for their mental health, because they deserve some self-care as well. In fact, everybody who's coming, it's a self-care, fun workshop that you're not going to be talking about all the difficulties that you've been going through. We're going to be focusing on the positive. We're going to give you a mindset shift. And what it will do is change the brain chemistry. You will leave feeling good and happy, and you will want more of it. And what I do is I teach you how to continue to make that happen with your own badass soundtrack. So if you still want to come, there's still a few seats left on the bus. Just send me an email, kelly@kellyorchard.com, and we'll get you all set up. Take it away, Mr. Ocean.
Who wouldn't want to be a certified badass? Sign up for the Badass Certification class, like CPR for your mental health. Hop on the bus to Badassville. Be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.